Hello, everybody. Welcome to Real Talk. I am your host, as always, Paul Britton. I will be walking you through some fascinating Oscar content. Oh, yeah. Look, I love me some Oscars. I have loved the Oscars since I was a kid. And it was on Mondays. Forget it, whatever. I don't care. It was one of the few times I would get to stay up late. And then as I got older, as a teenager, I started doing a tradition where I'd get a pint of Ben and Jerry's and eat the whole pint during the telecast. I can't do that anymore. Not that I can't, just that I don't, because it's too much, because I know that now. But back in the day when I could down a pint of Ben and Jerry's and it wouldn't show up on the old waistline at all, I could get away with it, but not anymore. Anyway, point being, we just had the Oscars this past Sunday, as everybody is fully aware. And I want to talk about it a little bit. So I'm going to start by talking about the telecast. We'll do super big picture. I love Jimmy Kimmel as a host. I just frigging love Jimmy Kimmel as a host. He is just an absolutely amazing host. I grew up on Billy Crystal. Jimmy better than Billy Crystal? Absolutely not. Is Jimmy as good as Billy Crystal? Yeah, he might be. Like it's just that every once in a while you just meet and come across the person that was made to do a thing. Jimmy Kimmel was made to host these shows, man. And it's not that he's super funny, because he's not super funny. He's funny enough. It's not that he is ultimately more charming than anybody else. He's not. Billy Crystal was never. There is just something to hosting shows like this. Jimmy Kimmel has it. Billy Crystal had it. Obviously, Johnny Carson, and Bob Hope had it. And I love Jimmy as a host, and I hope he does it 50 million more times. He's frequently said, "I never even thought I would do it a second time." I hope that's just like modesty out of him. I want Jimmy Kimmel back. So that's out of the way. And just give me Jimmy Kimmel. As far as other things about the telecast, amazing. It finished like not even like on time, but like early. It was like done early. What? This is the fucking Oscars. It's supposed to go over 30 minutes. It's funny because Jimmy usually is done early. And I kind of feel like he still makes the jokes about going late. But at some point, he's going to have to stop making those jokes, because they're doing a really good job of being like, look, we know how long this show needs to be. It's 3.5 hours. We know how to make it 3.5 hours. So that's what we're going to do. And they do it. I miss a few of the things that they cut out. I like having packages of coherently gathered together clips. Like, here are all of the, in honor of Oppenheimer, here are all the explosions in movies, or, in honor of Poor Things, here are all of the Frankenstein versions of Frankenstein that have come out, and, things like that, where it's just like, I like those, but, they don't have time for that. They've decided that's not what the telecast is about. It's about getting the awards out and telling you about who's actually nominated. And so that's what they do. And they do one package. They did a stunts package with Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt, soon to be the stars of The Fall Guy. And if you told 8-year-old me that they were going to make a Fall Guy movie, I'd be like, oh, I'm in. Just tell me where to go. Anyway, unrelated. So, yeah, that I liked the stunt package, needless to say. The other thing they changed up, and this is something they did a few years back, and then they only did it like once, maybe 2 years, and then they stopped it. Was they, instead of just having the prior winner of the acting awards come on and just read the people's names and then do a clip from the movie and then present the award, they got rid of the clip from the movie, and they instead had five different past winners do a little tribute to each of the nominees, with the winner from last year doing the actual presentation. And I gotta say, it was interesting. I'm on the fence. I'm not totally committed in favor of, but I liked it for the most part. I thought some of the choices were weird, and I feel like the dudes need to like figure their shit out, because the women absolutely rocked the acting nomination speeches, because all 10 of them were just like, I just want to tell you about what kind of badass woman my friend is, and they just they there was just so much love, and the dudes were just like, yeah, dude, you're cool, and I would like to meet you someday. It was just really, it 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 was it was unsurprisingly a stark contrast. How's that? How's that? That's what we're gonna go with. It was unsurprisingly a stark contrast, even though of the 20 that we got to see, the best one was actually Sam Rockwell for Morton Downey. Oh my god, for Robert Downey Jr. But then so that was number one, and then 10 through 12 were the women in some order, with Nick Cage being somewhere in that spectrum somewhere. Yeah, and so I we'll see what they do next year. It would be awesome if they did that plus a clip. Can we get clips? Just I like clips. That's fine. Some people don't. Whatever. I want to talk about now. I'm going to talk about the presenters for a minute. I've already done the acting one. I'm not going to go back to it. I just want to like hit the highlights. For me, the number one highlight was Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito coming out, and they were presenting, and they said obviously the reason why we're out here. It was for during the editing one. They were doing effects and editing. Obviously, the reason why we're out here is because we both had to fight Batman. Which, I mean, look, everybody knows why they're out there. It's because they were in the they did Twins, and there's been a lot of talk about doing a Twins sequel. But like, it turns out actually, yeah, you know what? They both were Batman villains. And then they had an amazing interplay with Michael Keaton, who also did a presentation later in the evening. That was just the interplay with those three was really, really funny. It was a genuinely funny moment, and easily my favorite moment of all of the presenters. Number two is going to be Kate McKinnon, just because she's Kate McKinnon. Uh, you know, yeah, I mean, that's just the way it is. I'm always going to be a fan of Kate McKinnon, and like just the idea of her sending tasteful nudes to anybody, let alone Steven Spielberg. Yeah, that's hilarious to me. I love that. Uh, all they had the comedian out there, whose name is escaping me. I knew this would happen, and like literally 20 minutes ago, I was like, okay, let me get his name. I'm not gonna remember it, but I'm gonna get it, and I might remember it, but I don't remember it. But anyway, he's the guy that does Spider Pig in the last two Miles Morales Spider-Man animated films. He would be number three. So that's my top three. I'm not going to go too much deeper into that. Now, the actual awards, again, not going to hit all of the awards. Well, I'm going to start with my disappointments. If you're a multiple repeat viewer of the show, you're aware that my favorite director is Wes Anderson. I just all of his movies just make me feel good, ridiculously so, and he's just my absolute favorite. And I was overjoyed that he won an Oscar for his Henry Sugar short, which could be found on Netflix, and I highly recommend. I was really disappointed he didn't show up to the ceremony to collect it. That just bummed me out. It's just kind of like, look, I get it. You didn't do them to win the award, and you're kind of annoyed that you keep getting overlooked for your feature stuff, probably, or you're too cool for school and you don't, but come on, Wes Anderson, show up. Come on, man. How am I going to be walking around saying you're my favorite director, and oh, by the way, he just doesn't show up. And I understand that, like, he comments and, oh, thank you so much, I'm so honored, I'm filming right now, and I like that because that means I'm getting another Wes Anderson movie in 2025. But I I kind of feel like you could show up to collect your reward. Also, another little Miyazaki not showing up, not a surprise. He didn't show up when he won for Spirited Away. Uh, Also, I definitely would have given the award to the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. That's just me, whatever. Um, so let's talk about those things. Stuff that won that I would have given it to something else. So first one, I'll start with the big one, Emma Stone. Look, Poor Things is my favorite movie of the year. That's where I've landed. Poor Things is my favorite movie of the year. But um, what Lily Gladstone had to do in Killers of the Flower Moon was so much more impressive and difficult and just emotional, and it was just such a bigger feat, even though it was a smaller role. And I really wish Lily Gladstone had won. That's it. Lily Gladstone. I would have voted for you 100% of the time. Absolutely. Uh, but I am also happy for Emma Stone because I do love her. She's fantastic, and her moment with the broken dress was funny. Next, uh, I, I'm gonna go to production design, and who cares? I care, so just deal with it. Um, so Poor Things did not win any, other than Emma Stone. Poor Things didn't win any of the major, and by major I'm talking about script, director, uh, and picture. So it didn't win those ones. But it won several of the sort of the below the line stuff is what they call it. And costume, which fine. Honestly, I don't care. It won makeup, which was fantastic. It absolutely deserved. But then it also won production design. And I loved the production design in Poor Things. And again, my favorite movie of the year. Asteroid City should have won, but it wasn't even nominated, so that's neither here nor there. Uh, the one that was nominated that I think should have won is Barbie. I mean, the Barbie production design, that movie doesn't work if Barbie Land doesn't feel like Barbie Land. And to make Barbie Land feel like Barbie Land is just an absolute production design masterclass. It's a masterclass in production design, and damn it, yes, yeah, it needed to be there. The other sort of below the line one went to Oppenheimer. The other one that I want to talk about is the one that went to Oppenheimer, and I'm only mentioning it, and I don't know what should have won. Yeah, I do. Zone of Interest. I don't think it was nominated. Anatomy of the Fall would have been also a pretty good choice too. But I I'm just gonna say it, and this is gonna sound really stupid and like genuinely like just kind of like Neanderthalish and dumb. But if your movie's over 2.5 hours, you're disqualified from editing because yeah, your movie's over 2.5 hours long. I don't mind long movies, but I also recognize that they usually almost never have to be 2.5 hours long. Oppenheimer qualifies. So yeah, although the movie is put together so well. And honestly, that's it. Like, that's all I got for you for my disappointments. The stuff that I was super duper excited about. Okay, First of all, documentary. I only saw all right. Hey, look, I saw, other than documentary, I saw there were only 2 features that I didn't see. So other than documentary, I only missed 2 features. Unfortunately, documentary, I only saw 2 of the nominated films. One of them was 20 Days in Murderpool, and I'm just flat out telling you, you can find it on YouTube. This is a movie that everybody needs to watch. It's really fucking important. It was by far and away my favorite speech of the night, and God bless the human ingenuity that it took, and the human perseverance that it took to make this movie, to get it out there. It's an absolutely perfect example of what it's trying to be, and it's captivating and terrifying and everything that is terrible about the world, and important as a documentary because of that. I've already hit on, I'm glad Henry Sugar won. I already hit on that. I'm glad that best makeup won. I'm really happy for Robert Downey Jr. I Unfortunately, I would have voted for Mark Ruffalo, but I'm so, like, Robert Downey Jr. needed to be at least nominated for Iron Man from Endgame. I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry. He needed to be nominated for Iron Man and Endgame. And that was basic. That would have been basically like the Return of the King winning the Oscar. That sort of, it's just like, you do something like be Iron Man for 10 years and you carry although he had a lot of help carrying a thing like that. You deserve to win. So I'm glad that Robert Downey Jr. got his Oscar. I hope he comes back as Iron Man. There, I said it. I'm sorry. Not sorry again. Uh, you know, I was the I think we can all agree that the Lizzo song, of the 3 primary Barbie songs, there's the one that won, and I'm happy that a Barbie song won. Let's just get that out of the way. A Barbie song had to win. It was way too instrumental to the flow of the film. The 3 primary songs. I'm Just Ken. Oh, I forgot to mention during the telecast, the I'm Just Ken performance was one of the greatest like song performances I've ever seen. The only one that stands out to me is when Trey Stone and Matt Parker came out and did Blame Canada. That's second now to I'm Just Ken from this past thing. The fact that they did Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend from Marilyn Monroe, and with Ken being Marilyn Monroe, but all of the dudes just and all the backup Kens, and just perfection. And if they did voting for song just based off of how did your performance go at the Oscars, I would vote for it hands down, like not even thinking about it for 2 seconds. Just absolutely. But that's not how they vote for it. So the Lizzo song should have won. But before the actual performances, I would have given it to Billie Eilish. I love Billie. She's so fucking talented. It's stupid. And then Ken should have won. I was so happy about the 2 movies that won for screenplay. The second I saw Anatomy of the Fall, I was like, this movie has to win for screenplay. And that was even after I felt like for a really long time Barbie should have won, and I wish Barbie had been an original screenplay, and I would have been totally fine with Barbie winning, but Anatomy of the Fall winning was just so perfect. And I said it on here, American Fiction made me laugh harder than any movie has made me laugh since The Life of Brian, so I'm glad that it won also. As for the sort of the big ones, Cillian Murphy, awesome. Look, he was really good. What are you gonna say? I already hit on Emma Stone. Best supporting actress, Divine Joy. Divine, so good in The Holdovers, so good. And the actress category, the female leading role category, was so stacked this year. And it was weird that the supporting didn't feel quite as stacked, but that's again neither here nor there. Well deserved. The last two I want to hit on are director and best picture, and then I'm gonna wrap it up. Okay, so director, 100% Nolan. And no, 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 this is not a lifetime achievement award. Like what they did with Scorsese for The Departed. Scorsese should have like probably 4 Oscars by now, maybe 5. Nolan should have at least, this should be his second probably, but Dark Knight is so perfect. But oh my god, this, what he put together as a film, this was just an absolute, this is an example. Oppenheimer is the perfect example of, okay, so what is it? Is it the script or the directing? And for me, and other people might look, the directing in both American Fiction and Anatomy of the Fall is good to great. Those movies work because of their script. Okay. Oppenheimer, the script is kind of meh, but they work because of the directing. Okay. Other movies that work because of the directing would be like anything that James Cameron ever touches. So his scripts are weird at best. I mean, at best you're getting a weird script, and but the movies are always amazing because of the directing. Nolan is the same way. Nolan's movies, the scripts are usually a little weird, but the directing is just what you're watching. The visuals are just so friggin' amazing and mind altering. You can, while you're in the process of watching them. Hey, Nolan was 100% the right choice, and I was super happy. Now, best picture. Once upon a time, I just was like, I'm always going to be rooting for my favorite movie, and I'm always going to believe that my personal favorite movie of the year should win Best Picture. I don't believe that anymore. I've gotten older in life, and I realize now that what it should be doing is rewarding the best production. Okay, because that's who wins the award, are the producers. So the best production, Coda should not have won. Look, that it's a sweet movie, fine. Wasn't the best production. This year, Oppenheimer was the best production. I mean, it just was. It was just such a spectacle. It was so big. It was so important. It's so well layered. It's so well layered. It's just everything about it. I'm happy that Oppenheimer won. These were the Oppenheimer awards. It was the Return of the King rewards. It was the awards that La La Land and Moonlight got mixed up. These were the Oppenheimer awards, and it felt that way, and I'm glad that it was. All right, now I'm going to do my review. Kung Fu Panda 4 in this house. Don't step in this house if you're going to shit talk Kung Fu Panda 1 and 2. Don't. We're not going to have it. Kung Fu Panda 1 and 2, amazing. I love Kung Fu Panda 1 and 2. Jack Black, amazing. Shout out to my brother who is playing the Jack Black's Hit Me Baby One More Time on a continuous loop. Shout out to Phil. Jack Black for life. I went and saw Tenacious D when I was living in Los Angeles. I was literally standing as far away from me and the computer screen right now. Lifer, this Kung Fu Panda 3 was good. I liked it. We went ahead and bought it. I'm not going to buy Kung Fu Panda 4. I was disappointed with this movie. This is the classic point in animated movies where they're just like, yeah, we don't need to bring everybody back. I mean, we had an ensemble cast for the first one, and for obvious reasons, Jack Black probably wasn't as big, blah 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 blah. We wanted to be able to say, look, here's Angelina Jolie and Lucy Liu and others. And they went ahead and trotted them back out, everybody back out for 2 and 3. For 4, they decide, we just don't need to fucking do this anymore. We just need to bring Jack Black back. And the villain is just weak. It's perfectly fine. If you have kids and you're a fan of the Kung Fu Panda series, and you want to be a completist, definitely go watch Kung Fu Panda 4. If you're thinking you want to jump in, and you're going to start by watching Kung Fu Panda 4 in the theater, don't do that. Don't do that. Jack Black, I love you in everything, and I loved you in this, but your movie didn't. Here in Really Real Talk, we do tacos instead of stars, and instead of giving half a star or half a taco, we give guac because nobody eats a fucking half a taco. This is just a 2 taco plus guac. That means I liked it. I didn't hate it. I liked it, but I'm never gonna see this again. So that's where we landed. Thanks so much for coming in and listening to my 2 cents on the Oscars. I love it. So we'll be back again next week with some more movie reviews. Definitely going to go see Kristen Stewart's new movie. It looks really good. And then I'm going to see one other movie and I haven't picked it yet, but I'll figure it out. So see you next week.